This is the Prodigal Perspective, presented by EA Recovery.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Prodigal Perspective. Once a month, we're going to have a testimony on the show. And so we brought in Julius here. He is a former graduate of M18, or now known as Every Arkansan Recovery. And so, man, if you would, just tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I'm Julius Buie. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I came to recovery from gang life, drug addiction as well. It's most definitely been a journey for me. After trials and tribulations and jail stints and,
Tell us about the jail stints. Tell us what led up to that. What was life like before, as a kid, all the way up?
I'm the baby of 6. Where I'm from, it's pretty rough, right? A lot of people made it out, right? And I can't just say it was all bad, but I brought bad upon myself, choosing the surrounding and friends that I grew up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the choices I made was my choices. Like I say, I have big brothers, I have family members that, tried to steer me the right way at the best they could, but I still was making decisions to run with the crowd, run with the homies and things like that. So that what kind of led me down this dark path in life before recovery.
For me, it was like growing up I grew up around the gangs and things like that. But like for me, one of the things that led me into my drug addiction was the fact that I was in poverty.
Mhm.
And that I viewed selling drugs as a way to get out. And so I don't know if that relates to you any, but I can definitely relate to some of that.
Yeah, it most definitely was for me. I grew up around the drug lords of my city and of my neighborhood. So that's what kind of stirred me in that path. I had a brother that's was in the streets. Rest his soul. He was murdered in 2000. I had cousins that was deep in the streets, and they were like heavy hitters, so called, of the streets, that I took after, after seeing the accolades and things like that, kind of enticed me as a young child to where I wanted those things, right? Sure. So was I too young to be around those things? Yes. But I saw those things as the world, and that's what I need to have.
Yeah,
that's what's going to make me cool. That's what's going to give me my identity, right? So after seeing them with those accolades, but not knowing fully of what it took for them to get it, right? Until I learned how they got it, right? So that still caused me to follow in their footsteps.
Sure. Yeah, for me, it was all about the next Nikes.
Yeah.
Whatever's coming out, I got to have that. And if I don't have the money to get it, we got to get it.
Yes, for sure.
So, man, I know your story, most of your story anyway, because, of course, you've helped me with my story. Yes. You started out probably selling and dealing and things like that. And then at some point, had to become you using, which led you to needing in recovery. And so what would you say that point was in your life where you was like, oh man, now I know I'm an addict. I got to do something about this.
Yeah. So I started off gang life. I was initiated in the 4th grade. And once I was initiated into the gang, I became a leader of my generation. Because my brother and his friends and all the homies in the neighborhood gave me the game, right? And they gave me the game one day. I was suspended from school for writing a gang affiliation on a paper, and my teachers called me. And they sent me home. So once I got home, my parents disciplined me, but they didn't fully discipline me because they wanted to release me to my brother. because they knew he was in that life. And I figured they probably thought he was going to scare me straight. But he did totally the opposite.
Mm.
He gave me the game.
Yeah.
Right? Told me this and that, what to know and what not to know. Because I feel like it was more of a, if my brother has decided to say he's this, he needs to know what he needs to know, right? About this gang. So when he gave me that, man, I became a leader of my own generation, and it went to my head. So I went to it full flash, you know, and just going back to it leading up to him being murdered.
Mm.
My other cousin that's in a family, he was murdered. So honestly, everybody that I ever looked up to in my life, when it comes to the streets, are no longer with us.
Mm.
Everybody. So, you know, with that being said, that made me a leader in my own sense after that, because I had no other leaders that put me down alive. And I have other brothers that I follow after, as in role models now, that's very successful and things like that. But it took me to get busted for the last time, where I was guaranteed prison.
Tell us about the bus, man. I mean, I know, like, for the people out there, a lot of people don't understand what it's like to get your door kicked in and, like, see flashbangs and people coming at you, man. It's a lot. So if you don't mind sharing just a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Being said, I got busted 2 times, right? I got busted during COVID, and then I got busted like during the year of 2020. But the first time I got busted was from my carelessness, but I don't really 100% want to say it's carelessness, because I was in a flashy car, sleep in the middle of a parking lot in a car with guns and drugs.
Oof, not a good set.
Right. And just to be honest with you, man, the drugs that I had and indulged with was never downers. They were all uppers. So if you ask me, how you go to sleep?
Yeah.
Right? So I am in the middle parking lot of Motel 6 in front of the entrance door, not the parking lot, but the entrance door, just stuck. Asleep.
Man.
Gun in my lap, you know, just all the things. And all I know, beating on the door, doom, 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 doom.
That's a bad
If
day.
you ever saw a deer with
That's a bad day,
a deer in
right
headlights, that was me.
Yeah, I guarantee.
Right. I was well off because when I went to jail, I burned myself out. Right.
Yeah.
So after I burned myself out, it was during COVID when courts was closed. Right.
Oh, it's horrible.
So when court date come, I ain't got to go to court.
Yeah.
So I called one time and said, "Hey, what do I do?" They said, "Call back." I never called back again. And so after that, months and months passed. I just moved into this new home. One morning, I wake up, finna get to my daily routines, go run errands. My phone's ringing all crazy. The drugs I had was not in the house; they were in the car, right? So with that being said, I had to put my slippers on and I put my jump pants on, and I went down to the car to get them. Usually I would get them and bring them back in the house and get myself organized, then go run my errands.
Sure.
But for some reason, I didn't. I sat in my car, closed the door, and put my head down as I'm organizing what I had to organize. And by me waking up from a 3-day binge of drug use, right? So, you know, if you're up 3 days and you go to sleep and you wake up, like, you're still tired.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in my right mind.
Sure.
But I will say it was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. So as I'm got my head down and for about 20 minutes, and I look up, I had nothing but guns in my face.
Both times in the car.
Angels with badges.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
So there were angels with badges with guns in my face, and said, "Mr. Buie, You have a felony warrant. So, and with what I had in my lap would send me
That way.
past state prison.
Yeah, amen.
To federal prison. But the reason why I say it was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, because what I had in my lap was not what I got busted for the first time. This right here, you can touch it and it'll take a life.
Yeah.
But they pushed everything in the floor and said, we want you. We don't want that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right. So after that, I went to jail. I had the lowest bond in the world. So to remind you, I had on my slippers and my gym shorts. So I don't have my wallet. I can't bum myself out this time.
Yeah. So you stuck.
So I'm stuck.
That's COVID. What's this after COVID?
This like after COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Still pretty locked down though.
Yeah. It was.
Or it's still not jumping.
Yes,
or it's either jumping.
Yes.
Got a huge docket.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was still locked down, and so nowadays we have such good technology to where it's not old fashioned. We don't remember folks' numbers no more. We can get our device and go to a name and hit call.
Yeah.
So now I have to call the people that I feel loves me.
Yeah.
And that's mama.
Yeah. Oh.
That's daddy.
Well, you don't want to have to call mama.
Right. And
Mama will talk to
right.
Try. Mama will talk to you.
And,
so fierce.
Yes, and these are the only people numbers that I knew by heart.
Yeah.
And I called mama. Mama said, baby, you a monster. I don't even know you no more. Read your Bible. Get in that Bible. She said, baby, I can sleep now. I know where you at.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Crushed.
That's tough. Super tough.
I was crushed.
Yeah.
But it was for my good. I called my dad. My dad said, son, you got to sweat this one out. Crushed. Crushed. And after that, better yet, I called my brothers as well. One of my brothers, because that's the only number I knew. And he was like, okay, bro, we're going to come up with something. We're going to try to come get you. And they never came.
Never.
No. So a year later, on a $500 bond.
A whole year at Pulaski County? Ooh, Lord, that'll change my mind.
A long time. So, it was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. So I had to embrace that 2-man cell and cry out to the only person that I knew left could help me. And that was God.
Yeah.
And once doing that, I wasn't fully committed to changing. I had no thoughts of changing. I just wanted to get out.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get out. And going back to month 5 go past, month 6 go past. I'm starting been to court 3 times. Nothing's moving. And even while in jail, I was sent to the work program. It's where you can
CSI program or
no the work program to where you can be a trustee.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you.
I signed up for that. So
sure. That's the best place to eat at.
Yes.
You can starve.
But little did I know they came in to get us in a group of 8, and I was the last person, and I lagged for a reason. Now that I am so far past those things, I look back on it, and every step is like a visual of yesterday. Yeah. God moving.
Yeah. Like
I was the last one, and we're going to the work unit. The first 7 people got to go to the work unit. I didn't. But yes. So as we're going down to the work unit, we walk to the work pod. They have us sit out in this little pod, and the bailiff come and he comes and chews. He's like, all right, everybody, come on. I'm still lollygagging. Last one leave out. They let everybody go into the work unit except me and said, no, Mr. Buie, you're going over here to the CSI program.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's the CSI program? Right?
This is when it first started?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it.
And they was like the CSI program. And I'm thinking I'm going to the work unit because they got cigarettes in there. I can keep hustling. Like I can do all these things. But the CSI program is a community-based, safety-driven, integrity-based program within the Pulaski County Juvenile Jail, and it's very structured.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into this program upset because I wanted to go to the work unit. Right. But I didn't know what this program entailed. And I met Miss Kathy McConnell.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a mother to me. She's a very gentle lady. And my first day, she called me to a meeting in her office. And she was asking me all these questions, but I was hard-hearted still at that time. And I asked her, what can you do for me? I asked her, what can you do for me? You know what I mean? She embraced it. She wanted to say more, but she didn't because she's a very gentle old lady. And she was just like, Julius, I'm here to help you. I said, okay. I said, all right. And then she was like, but I want you to be able to help yourself.
Mm.
And she asked me, Julius, what's your goals? Like, what do you want to do for a living? And my mom's blank. I didn't know nothing.
That's a hard question for someone to
Yes.
sell drugs. I mean, really, it's just like, hey,
Right.
sell drugs.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, like, and I didn't know, Daniel.
Yeah, I get it.
And after that meeting, I felt so low.
Mm-hmm.
I felt less of a man. Because I didn't even know, for one, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know whose I was. And I didn't even know what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because I have become so drug infected in my head to selling drugs in the last 2 years using drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a drug dealing addict.
That's a hard place to be.
Yeah. And I had no skills, right? Yeah. I can do a lot of things, but I was a jack of all trades, a master of none, right? You know, and I had no desires to want to go to school. I had no desires to start a business. I had no desires to do anything but hustle because that's all I knew, right? So I'm in the CSI program. In the CSI program, it's just like school. You go to classes every morning. And those different classes that I went to in the CSI program struck a fire in me. And I got in those classes, man, and I applied myself and I got to doing good. But I had still wanted to change. I haven't told myself, all right, well, I'm tired of this. I want to change. I have not yet made that decision. Right. But I had a desire from going to class and doing my work, completing it, turning it in, getting the data boys. Yeah. Right. It triggered a switch in me and said, you can be somebody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So the encouragement that I got from the teachers there kind of helped me regain my life, as in I can be somebody. I can do something good. Sure. So you know, with that being said, man, I got to doing those classes and it ignited a passion to want to go back to school.
It makes you feel good.
Yes, exactly. So I'm doing that. Then I started going to NA in there in jail, and when I spoke in NA, they listened. Right. Yeah. And every morning that you wake up at 6:30, you have to read something. I was the only person that read the Bible because I grew up in church, right? I grew up in church.
For sure.
But, you know, I never been a follower of Christ, right? I knew of him because I had family members to raise me in church, right? But I never been a fully devoted follower and didn't know what it was like to follow him. So when I spoke, they listened. And after that, I started a Bible study And I look back now, it's kind of funny because what we were doing is just reading it and just guessing.
Yeah, this needs to be what.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right, but I were leading them, man, and it triggered me to talk to God, like as if I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Right. And as I'm doing that, a guy come in the program, and guess what this guy had for me? They came in there that had my bun money.
Oh,
he had my bun money. So as I am talking to this man, and he heard my name in the streets, and he was asking me how much my bun, and I was like, $500. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, man, I'm willing to give that 3 times to whoever who come gets me. Do you know this man called his lady and got that money? And I called my lady at the time to go get that money to come bun me out. And she went and got it, but didn't come bun me out.
Oh, man. Yeah, that happens.
She held on. She didn't spend it. She held on to it.
Yeah, wanting you to change, finish that program. Probably.
Yes. And I was so crushed. Now I'm crushed for the 4th time. Mama, daddy, brother.
That
now
breaking
her.
process is tough.
Like, you know what I mean? So, and then my hopes is up, right? And I was going to wholeheartedly keep my word to him and come get him out of jail. But I saw that she wouldn't do nothing, and I made her return the money to this man's girlfriend.
Sure.
And I got off my bunk, and I went out the back door. That's when I broke. That's when I called out to God. I jumped off my bunk, went out in the yard when nobody out there. I looked up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Lord, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's on a cold concrete chain link fence floor.
Why?
Yeah, tough.
Why, Lord? And I made a vow with him right then. I made a vow. I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, if you are real, show me. Right? My exact words. I said, if you real, show me. If you get me out of this, I will give you 120%.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first time going to him in true brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time where I made the decision. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I don't want this no more. I don't want to go through this no more. I don't want this no more. So Lord, you help me out of this. I'm gonna give you 120. So I cleaned myself up. I got control of myself, and I went back in. And like a week after that, I went to court for the 3rd time. And the judge said, all right, I'm going to release you to a rehab. I said, yes. I said, yes. Right. She said, I'm going to release you to a rehab, and I'm going to reschedule your court date. Okay, so I come back in and I applied for 5 secular rehabs and got approved to all of them.
No way.
But the door never opens.
Nope.
A month later, I'm still in there. But I'm still in there a whole month. And while I'm in there, though, I'm reading my Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I read the whole Psalms. I read all of Paul's letters. From when Paul was in jail, he taught me to be content. You know, David, I can relate to him, to all of the things he done. And God has forgiven him.
Yeah.
Right. I love the way God humanizes his word through his prophets and his characters in the Bible that we can relate to on a daily. So as I was released to option to be released to a rehab, no one came. But one day I look up and M18 Recovery come through the door. They come in, man, looking like angels. I jumped off my bunk. I was like a kid at the candy store. Yeah. I sat on the front row, and it was Ross Kendrick.
Amen.
And, Ross gave his testimony. And once he finished, I had so many questions, showing my willingness and determination of wanting to join this program that he was talking of, right? Because he actually described it as a discipleship program. And, after speaking with God, after me pleading with him that I don't know nothing else, right? Like, all I know is that gun. All I know is that bag. After just pleading with God in there, and God put on my heart that he was going to use my past to strengthen his kingdom.
Sure.
I didn't know how that looked. I didn't know, what all that entailed. But after Ross meeting in the CSI program, 2 days later, I was out.
Yeah. Ross went back and told him.
Yeah, Ross went back and told Ashley and Blake, and I was out of there.
Man.
I was out of there.
That's good.
And the reason Ross came in, because it was a guy in jail that called M18 and said, hey, we got a guy in here, right? Yep. That will be good for you all program. And I didn't even know that he did that. Mm-hmm. But he came to me afterwards and told me about Ashley Poston. Because he didn't say nothing about Blake then. He just told me Ashley.
Yeah.
And here come Ross, And 2 days later, I was out of there.
Amen.
Yeah, I was out of there. So on to M18 recovery, which was a 4-month program for me. But
at that time, it was 4 months. Now,
yes. At that time,
it's changed a lot.
At that time, it was 4 months, and I had so much anxiety during that 3rd month, to where
did you have any struggles in there? Was it in the program at all?
Yeah, man, I was almost kicked out 2 times. We
gotta talk about all.
Yeah. So they almost put me out 2 times, right? Because going back to, I still had worldly ways.
Yeah.
Right. On my 2nd day in there, I got caught smoking cigarettes. Ross, Weiss, Lindsay, she caught me smoking cigarettes.
Hey man, what's this dude doing out here smoking?
Yeah. So I still had the conniving ways in me.
Hey man, that's a lot of us coming recovery.
So I still, but they had grace on me, right?
Yeah,
they had grace on me, man, and it was truly a blessing. But it was just what I needed. Mm-hmm. Right, to be fed, like the classes that we went to every day, like that played a pivotal role in my recovery, in my walk with God. Yeah. Right, to see these men come in and pour into us, the cars that we receive monthly from Holly Springs.
Mm-hmm. They still do that today.
It's just the involvement of us being free, but in a structured environment.
Sure.
Right. But going back to, man, and that right there build lifelong relationships that I have to this day, that really just struck a fire in me and allow God to continuously speak to me. And man, when month 4 came and I graduated, went right back to the apartment and got on the couch, started watching TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't my time to go.
Yeah.
I found that a lot of people graduate and can't wait. They're actually marking the days off on the calendar.
Yeah, that's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, and that was, I vowed to myself that I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I had not yet let God open a door for me, right? So it's like, okay, do I just leave and go back to the same thing that I was doing before I went to jail the last time? So with that being said, everything that I had was gone when I got out of jail. Everything except the car.
Yeah.
All the money, all the drugs, all shoes, clothes, like a lot of stuff.
Starting over.
Yeah. So I didn't have nothing but that car, and then my mom made me sell it.
Right.
Because it was too much of a resemblance of the old.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was truly a blessing, man, being able to go to M18, which I also look at it as a discipleship program, teaching men biblical principles,
Sure.
to be able to apply to their lives every day.
So, man, like you made it through that. You get through there, you graduate, and I mean, one of the coolest things about Julius is like, for anybody that don't know, is he plays a pivotal role in mine and my wife's recovery. And so, like, I mean, he was there for the whole thing. But at some point, you start working for 100 families in there. So just talk about that a little bit.
I did. So, man, I have to go back a little bit. I have to cover cover more ground before I get there. So when I graduated M18 recovery, I stepped on the couch for like 2 or 3 months, right? Because again, God hadn't yet opened a door for me. I wasn't employed. It's just like, where do I go? So they graced me to stay there, and the Lord sent Mr. Gary Simpsch.
Everybody knows Gary.
To teach a class one day, right? Mm-hmm. I knew Gary from in the program, but I've never just communicated with him. But he came to teach a class one day, and he was speaking of showing tough love. And I didn't believe in tough love at that time, right? So we kind of bumped heads.
Yeah.
Because I am like, no, you don't show your child tough love. You bring them in, you embrace them. Yeah, like you walk alongside them. But I kind of understood now why he thinks or looks at tough love like that, because sometimes you're forced, you know what I mean? But with that being said, man, Gary welcomed me into his house.
Yeah.
So I lived with Gary for 2 years. But once I got with Gary, man, I didn't have to pay nothing. And I got hired at Pella, Windows and Doors.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I started working at Pella, man, living with Gary. I got a chance to save my money, get to save things, get to embrace the accountability of second chance that the Lord has given me. And he has put me in a environment that was outside of the norm for me. Yeah. But then I started School of Ministry through New Life Church. Was a pivotal role for me to do that, because I got a lot out of it, because I put a lot in it. Mm-hmm. So I'm working for Pella, going to School of Ministry, and every Arkansan had took on the 100 Families Initiative. Mm-hmm. And per Deanna Waldens, per Damon Roulette, I don't know if I said his name right, but Damon put a word in. Yeah. Damon put a word into Deanna. Deanna said she's looking for someone with lived experience, and Damon said, "I know just the guy."
Yeah.
So Deanna called me. She called me and was like, "Hey, I want to schedule an interview with you. I want to bring you in and talk to you, right?" But before that, she wanted me to resolve some legal issues before we go further with it. So I exhausted all my funds trying to pay off these other counties to get warrants resolved so I can be eligible to go as I please without any further arrest.
Yeah.
So I did all that. Then I called her back and we scheduled the interview. I come in. She interviewed me. I poured my heart out to her, because I really didn't know what this looked like. But the day before the interview, she sent me a pop quiz of learning to be a case manager.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know nothing of that, right?
Yeah.
But I have common sense, and I have a little book sense to where I understood things, and I knew exactly what she wanted me to do. So she gave me an example to follow, and I did it to the best of my ability. I sent it in, and she was like, "Hey, come at this time." Mm-hmm. So I came in, man, and she was just as genuine. She was sincere. she kind of presented to me everything going on with 100 families. And, it aligned with helping people that's in crisis. And if we want to go back a little bit, I told you that God put on my heart that he was going to use my past to strengthen his kingdom. So I knew right then the Lord was moving, and this is a divine appointment to where this is where the Lord's leading me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I came to Every Arkansan. It took on the case manager role with Mrs. Deanna Walders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was shortly after that, me and Leslie come through.
Yes.
And isn't it crazy how God works, though?
Yes.
I mean, like, to think back to, like, there's this dude that I've definitely never met.
Mm-hmm.
Highly unlikely that I would ever meet, at that time, 2 different paths. I was way strung out in my addiction, way up in Maynard, Arkansas,
Yes.
Is our paths ever even having a chance to collide are so odd. And so when I'm hearing your story, it's like a picture, like, all starts right there for you in that, in the yard out there at the jail, and while you're out there on the yard in the jail, I'm out there somewhere killing myself with a needle in way 2 hours, 3 hours away.
Yeah.
And so what happened right there in that courtyard plays a role all the way up to this point, years later. And so it all started right there. So, like, you really want to look back further. I mean, it's just crazy how God orchestrates the things that he orchestrates. But, like, I remember whenever you were in that role and you had just got the role, I mean, it was like right there when me and Leslie, I think we were one of your not first cases, but we were definitely probably in the top 50 of them.
Leslie was my first.
Yeah, okay. So
Leslie was my first initial intake assessment.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I remember when you first got to M18 recovery, broken, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned your wife and things like that. And it's just amazing that life changes the 360 you have done.
Yeah, well, we're both done.
Right. But it also motivates me as well. After knowing your story and things like that, and was like, Lord, somebody with a rap sheet like that, right?
It's hard. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not trying to get off into my story, but our stories really do go together at one point, and so it's really cool to get to see. It's cool that I didn't know that she was your first case, but then, like, you got to think now, like, we're totally in a different spot, and you're actually in a different spot too now with Smart Justice, and so God's done, like, brought you up to here to work in the court system, which is really cool. And now my wife works basically in your spot. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's just kind of crazy how all this works. And, when you hear the whole thing, like when you hear us talk about it right here, and for me today, it was an eye opener, like God ordained this, because it's like, man, all those little things had to happen.
It did.
To get us to right here,
They did.
And so there's no telling how many more, and even Ross plays a role in that. And he definitely plays a role in my life. I met him back way before this even. And so like way before you were even in jail, I knew Ross. And so it's just kind of crazy how all those things come together. They start somewhere, and then here we are today. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's good, man. So I stuck with 100 families for like a year and a half. And that's when the Smart Justice Initiative opportunity opened up for me, which is a district court initiative to help people with criminal charges with resources. So it's basically the same work that I did with 100 families, but now I'm doing it with criminals.
Yeah.
Within the North Little Rock District Court. And, it all makes sense how the Lord said he was going to use my past to strengthen his kingdom, right? So now I get to help people that comes from the walk of life that I come from, and help them get a second chance. So I strive to be a advocate for second chances, but I'm a truly believer that if anyone gets a second chance, they have to work for their second chance.
Sure.
Right. And I believe that work that they have to do would be work on helping themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And the ones that's willing to help themselves fully deserve a second chance.
For sure.
I strive to be that beacon of light, of hope for anybody. Right. Because I know if he did it for me, he can do it for them. But so one of the most selfish things about me is I love when someone from the past see me now.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen that happen.
And they ask me what did you do?
I was at the DLR one day and that.
Right. And they ask me, you different.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally different.
And that's when I'm able to open the door and share the gospel with them. I took everything from every step of this journey and I'm applying it today. So now I am attending Arkansas Baptist College, majoring in religious studies, to one day become a chaplain. Now I'm maintaining a 4.0 by the grace of God of some way, somehow.
That's good.
But I am maintaining that. And my passion is to be able to reach back to the ones in the dark, man, to just bring people out of that life that I was so easily entangled in.
Yeah.
Because you will be surprised of the people that's so uneducated of resources,
Sure.
Treatments of mental health, drug and alcohol treatment, because I come from a culture to where, that's not popular.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And things like that, man. So, my heart, it goes out to the addicts and the prisoners, right? And the sick and suffering.
So, man, that brings me to my next and last question. If, and there is definitely people out there that are going to watch this that are struggling. Mm-hmm. And so, man, what is something that you can encourage them with?
I just want to encourage anyone. If you're struggling in any way, form, or fashion, it's okay to tell somebody.
Sure.
It's okay to tell someone, and you're not the only one.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people.
And you're not the only one. And there is change. You have to make that decision to want that change.
Definitely.
Right? So, just going back to, it's possible. You know what I mean? If you're in a dark place right now,
reach out.
Yes, reach out. Don't suffer in silence. Don't wait till tomorrow. Call today.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like tomorrow, maybe just too late. Like if you are going to reach out, do it today. Do it right now. You wind up on the news.
No one can do it for you.
No.
No one's going to give it to you. If you truly want change, there's help awaiting. There are people already equipped. There's people waiting for you to walk through the door. There's people waiting for you to pick up the phone. There's people waiting to meet your every need. With that being said, don't wait till tomorrow.
That's it.
Call today.
This is The Prodigal Perspective, presented by EA Recovery.